My name is Marie. Welcome to my channel and welcome to another speed build. So for today's video, we're going back in time because this is a build that I actually finished before the Businesses and Hobbies expansion pack was released. I was building it with the new expansion in mind. I knew exactly what I wanted here, but I actually built it before the expansion pack was released. That said though, it'll be completely functional with the new pack. I think that's going to be so much fun to play with this because today we're actually building two neighboring cafes, and then they also each have an apartment on top. So the way that I think that'll work best in gameplay, I'll explain that in a second. But yeah, what we're doing here today is two opposite cafes. One is a dog cafe and the other one is a cat cafe. I thought that would be so cute. I was building this over on stream and I just thought that this was a really fun idea because I knew from the get-go, as soon as Businesses and Hobbies was first announced, I knew that I wanted to do a functional cat cafe. That was one of the things I was most excited for, aside for a laundromat, which is obviously ridiculous, but I did already build a laundromat before, like a few weeks ago. So yeah, I had a lot of fun with that. And then yeah, one of the first things I actually jumped into game to do before the pack was out, knowing that it was going to come out, was build a cat cafe that was going to be functional with a little apartment on top. And I had so much fun with this. And to spice things up, because honestly, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do first, a cat cafe, a dog cafe, or just a pet cafe in general, because in The Sims that would just work really nicely. I know it's not necessarily very realistic to have dogs and cats maybe come into the same space, to the same cafe. I'm not sure if such a thing exists in real life. If that's the case, that would be really fun. But in The Sims, obviously, that's definitely a thing that you could do. But yeah, I was kind of thinking about that, and I was kind of thinking about what would be a fun way to go about this. And that's when I decided to basically just create a combined lot here with a cat cafe on it as well as a dog cafe. So that's what we're doing. The one on the left that is all pink is going to be the cat cafe, and then the green one is going to be the dog cafe. I was kind of going with stereotypes here, where I thought it'd be cute to have a really cutesy and quote-unquote girly cat cafe with like lots of pastels and pink colors, and then the dog cafe is a little bit more coastal, a little bit more, I guess, like less pastel but more grays, and also colorful. Like, it's definitely colorful. It has more like dark blues and stuff going on. So yeah, the color schemes are a little bit different in that sense, but I do think they each turn out really cute. They do have essentially the exact same layouts, and so do the apartments over on the second floor. The layouts for the apartments are different, but the floor plans are for the most part the same. And so, yeah, I was definitely trying to see what I could come up with for both of these cafes, because they do have the same layouts, the same floor plans, but I still wanted them to feel different, like vibe-wise. So that's what I was trying to do, trying to come up with. Obviously, the cafes aren't one-on-one the same, because I am working with these coffee bars, these barista like coffee bars from Get Together, and they're like L-shaped, so you have to place them in a certain way, and these cafes are mirrored, and the floor plans are mirrored as well, so that makes it so that the orientation for the coffee bar is different for each cafe, if that makes any sense. But you'll see once we move on to the interior. Obviously, we're building this in Brindleton Bay. Brindleton Bay is one of my all-time favorite worlds. It always will be. I will say I really do like Nordhaven, the new world from Businesses and Hobbies. I think that one is really pretty and just something completely different. It is such a breath of fresh air, but that's usually what new worlds feel like to me, to be honest, because they're new and shiny. So it's like nice to kind of explore the different lots, and it's really nice to actually build on lots that are brand new to you, that you've never seen before. That being said though, this particular lot in this world is one of my all-time favorite areas in the game out of all the worlds to build. I just really like this little spot here. I think it's a 20 by 20 lot, if I'm not mistaken. It is really small. And I just really like it here by the docks, by the water. I think the view out back is so pretty. And I just really like the dock area, I think is so cute. So I definitely had a lot of fun here. Also, the lighting on this lot is always just chef's kiss. I love it so much. The sunshine hitting the front of the build is just really satisfying, and it definitely makes it so that I really enjoy building here. The lighting is always such a big thing for me when it comes to building. It probably has something to do with taking screenshots and stuff like that. like aesthetics for the entire thing. And yeah, I just really like this lot. I think it's really cute. And also, yeah, so I was building this before Businesses and Hobbies came out. It's been out for a while now, so I would definitely love to hear your opinions on it if you've got it. Maybe you're still waiting to get it, or maybe it's not your thing at all. Let me know. I've definitely talked about this in previous videos already as well, but I really, really like the Businesses and Hobbies expansion. I think it's so much fun. The possibilities, the more packs you have, the more possibilities for businesses you also have, obviously, and I just feel like the possibilities are basically endless. I mean, for me, it's like easy to say because I do have all the packs, so it's really nice that for me the possibilities are definitely like, it feels endless, and I definitely had to get used to that a little bit. It was so limitless that my brain was like, okay, wait, what can I do? Like, what are the options here? And the options are like everything. There's so many options for businesses, and I just think that is so fun. So for this one, obviously how it would work is it's just a cafe. So if you open your business here and you set, well, definitely drink coffee and drink tea as an activity, and you have a barista work your coffee bar, then Sims will just come in and they'll grab coffee, they'll pay for the coffee, and they will leave a mess. It's definitely very much necessary to have a Sim or like an employee or maybe your own Sim just go around and clean up all the empty cups and plates, because the Sims going to the cafes, they leave everything and it's like, it's a mess. I mean, I guess it's kind of realistic. Whenever I go to a cafe, I don't really necessarily clean up my own plate and cup. So I guess it kind of makes sense when you think about it, but it happens fast. Before you know it, you have a whole mess on your hands in these cafes, which I guess also would be kind of realistic if you're running a cafe. You definitely would want someone continuously to just go around and pick up plates and cups and stuff. So I feel like that's pretty realistic in that sense. But yeah, I think that would be really fun to play. You could obviously also just place the ticket kiosk and have Sims come in here and pay a small fee, be it hourly or just a one-time fee before they are able to enter the cafe. I feel like maybe for a cat cafe that would be kind of realistic, so that your little donation or fee that you pay goes to taking care of the cats and like cat food and like the cat welfare essentially. I feel like that would definitely be an option, and then you pay separately for the coffee or the beverages that you get, obviously. And then for the dog cafe, you can kind of do the same thing. But obviously the way that I set it up is I built 2 separate cafes and 2 separate apartments. So ideally they'd be run by different Sims and they would each be their own business. I do not know if that is possible. I don't think so. I think you can only have 1 small business per lot. So you would have to have the Sims running these cafes in the same household, but maybe like pretend they're not in the same household. Pretend they're just neighbors, but for you to play with, they're in the same household. I feel like that would be kind of fun, a fun way to go about this. As we were building this, we were also sort of coming up with a little storyline that I think would be so much fun to play out. And that's basically an enemies to lovers little trope, where we have 2 Sims running the cafes. Obviously, maybe we'll have 1 Sim, like say we'll have a girl run the cat cafe and we'll have a boy run the dog cafe, you know, that sort of a thing. And at first, maybe they start out disliking each other a little bit because they're like, why did you have to open a cat cafe right next to my already existing dog cafe? That is literally the worst thing that you could do. Like, why? That's so inconvenient for both of us. So why would you do that? And then maybe they started this cat cafe here because it was the only spot available and it was just the perfect area, like the perfect lot, the perfect building to like start a cafe because there was already a cafe there. And you know, it's just like, it was the way it was set up, it would just work really well. And so for whatever reason, 2 cafes end up being right next to each other, and the Sims end up like disliking each other a little bit because, you know, dog people, cat people, it's kind of fun to think about it in that sense. And maybe it's like an enemies to lovers storyline where at first, like I said, they start out disliking each other, but then they actually take a liking towards each other and they actually start to, I don't know, maybe crush on one another a little bit. And then, you know, the storyline progresses and maybe they get closer to each other to the point where they become friends. And then after that, maybe even more, even though they don't want to admit it, you know, something like that I think would be so cute to like kind of play out in a storyline. I also I'm not sure if you saw that because it went by pretty quickly, but I placed some mailboxes on the side of this lot, and I placed like a little cat mailbox and a little dog mailbox like right next to each other, so they probably run into each other all the time whenever they have to get the mail. And so they have like little fights or like little discussions whenever they have to get the mail. And I don't know, maybe getting the mail daily and like running into each other at the mailboxes, even though for the rest are like really trying to avoid each other. Maybe that could lead to something, you know, something like that. We could like, I was building this over on stream and we were talking about this, and we could definitely all like see this just play out in our heads. And I think that that would be so fun. Maybe it would even be fun for a tiny Let's Play. I don't know. I barely have time to sit down and record gameplay videos anymore, but I think it'd be really, really fun. I am definitely trying, this is so off topic by the way, but I'm definitely trying to branch out a little bit more with my content, to the sense, not really, like it hasn't really started yet, but I'm like kind of trying to think about what else I want to do, because I love speed builds. That will always be my number one thing, but I've also been really enjoying some tutorial type things, and I also definitely do miss gameplay over on my channel. So I'm thinking that maybe I could start doing some like either mini Let's Plays that are only a few episodes, or maybe some more like gameplay challenges that are kind of like one episode, like just one video type of gameplay challenges. I think maybe that would be a lot of fun, but definitely let me know in the comments down below. Obviously, I will always be uploading speed builds because that is what I love. I love to build. I love to share my builds with you all. And I feel like a lot of people that watch my channel do really like those as well, obviously. But I also know that many of you have been kind of waiting on an update on the Pack Legacy Challenge that I was playing before, and I don't think I'm going to continue that, because I mean, it's been months since I've played, and as much as I love how the Pack Legacy Challenge is set up, I think it's so creative and just really, really good. It's gonna be so long if I want to play through it, and I only play it like once a week, you know, because it's for a video, and it will take literally years, and I don't think I'd be able to finish it. So maybe because of that, I don't really feel like continuing that, and instead of that, I would like to do some like shorter, only a couple episodes, little mini Let's Plays, or, you know, like I said, like gameplay challenges or whatever, or like build challenges for that matter. I think that would be really fun as well. But if you have any thoughts on this, on besides speed builds, what else you would love to see like come to the channel, let me know, and I will definitely like take it into consideration. I don't really know how to phrase that, but you know what I mean. And yeah, I'm just trying to branch out a little bit and maybe like try some different things, also to keep it more fun for me. You know, it's kind of fun to sort of think about that and kind of grow the channel and evolve like that. So yeah, that's definitely stuff that I've been thinking about. So if you have any thoughts on that, please, by all means, let me know in the comments down below. But you can definitely see that we have already started decorating the cat cafe. That one's already done. I completely talked over that because I'm just yapping, but that's okay. And then we have started on the dog cafe here. So you can definitely see that I was trying to go for similar vibes, as in they have the same floors, they have the same wallpaper, just everything's in different swatches. For the dog cafe, I will say, by the way, for the longest time, I forgot to actually place the espresso machine on the counter, like on the coffee bar counter. I did go and place that one obviously before I uploaded it to the gallery, but I don't think I recorded that. So for the longest time, there just won't be a coffee maker. So before you like spend 15 minutes yelling at your screen about my missing coffee maker, I actually ended up placing that one. So it is there, but yeah, that was kind of silly of me. And then for a dog cafe, as I was kind of going through this and furnishing this, I realized that I don't think I've ever done a dog cafe particularly. Like I have done cat cafes before, definitely, and I've also done like a pet cafe, I think, where I have both cats and dogs, like stuff for both cats and dogs. I know, like I said again, that's probably not very realistic, but in The Sims, that is definitely a thing you could do, and I thought for gameplay purposes that would be really cute. So I've done that before, but not necessarily a dog cafe. So I was definitely channeling what I think it would look like, and I was definitely going for more coastal vibes. I'm using a lot of blue, a lot of lighter wood tones, but also combined with some darker wood tones, so it's a little bit of a mix and match of different tones and different colors, but definitely a lot of blue and like very coastal. That obviously goes with the theme of Brindleton Bay for the most part already, but also I felt like for like a dog cafe, I felt like that would be kind of fitting. Like the cat stuff would be really cutesy and pink, and the dog stuff would be more coastal and blue. I don't know. That's kind of what my mind comes up with when I think about these things. Also, off of the coffee bars or the coffee like areas where you can order your coffee essentially, I also created the tiniest little employee only area. So I feel like that would be, if you were to download this and you have businesses and hobbies, there's a tiny little employee only area where I placed a tiny kitchenette and a fridge and stuff, maybe for them to like grab some lunch. It's really small, so you can't really sit there or anything, but it is just a really tiny closed off kitchenette that's just for the employees to use. I thought that would be kind of helpful. And then obviously in the cafes, I also made it so that we have all the stuff for the cats in the cat cafe and all the stuff for the dogs in the other one, with toys and pet beds and cat trees and what have you. So yeah, that's kind of what I did. It's kind of what you would expect in a cat cafe or a dog cafe. And we have started here on the apartments. So the very first apartment I'm doing is the one above the cat cafe. So this one's for the cat cafe owner. And I was kind of trying to find a color scheme that would sort of tie in with the rest of the build, like the rest of the cafe on the ground floor. So I ended up using pink in here and some green subway tiles in the kitchen. I thought that was really nice. I'm not sure if I actually kept this wallpaper in the apartment here or if I swapped it out. I do remember I was definitely trying to I was definitely fiddling around with the layout for this, because for some reason it took me a minute to figure out what I wanted this to look like or how I felt like the layout would make the most sense. I do really like how the kitchen came out here. It's very cramped, but essentially when you first walk through the front door of the apartment, you basically enter into the kitchen, which I know is not super realistic maybe for most places. For some places it is more common, for other places it's not. But for the layout for this tiny apartment, it's only a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment, so I didn't have the most space to play around with. So I felt like that made sense, and I really actually like that kitchen with the island counters as well. I think that looks really cute and just so cozy and nice and cramped. And obviously I had to place a huge cat tree in here because this person's running a cat cafe. They probably also have a couple of cats here in their own apartment that during the day when the cafe is open, kind of just hang out downstairs with the other cats. I don't think all the cats hang out here in the apartment all the time, but maybe I feel like the cats in the cat cafe are also sort of like up for adoption, I would say. Like, I feel like maybe that's a thing. And then the owner also has like maybe 1 or 2 cats of their own that just live here and also hang out in the cafe whenever it's open. I feel like that's what's going on here. That's definitely what I could see. Like, it's sort of like a cat rescue / cafe / adoption center. I don't know. Is that realistic? Do cat cafes sometimes also have the cats up for adoption? I don't actually know that. But if you have any information on that, let me know, or experience with it, let me know. Because I love cats. You probably know this about me, but I do love cats. I love them a lot. So here in this apartment, you can see that I was trying to mess around with a layout, and it's definitely kind of awkward here because it's very cramped. I didn't really have a nice spacious area for a living room setup, but I did really want to place a fireplace. I thought that was going to be so cozy and so fitting for these sort of older buildings, like little apartments here on the 2nd floor. So I definitely wanted to use the brand new base game fireplace because I still really love it. And it ties in nicely with the base game counters that I'm using in here as well. But I did manage to figure out a layout here in the living room, thankfully. And then after that, we are moving on to the bedroom, which is really nice color scheme wise. I really like that darker purple carpet that I'm using, which is also from the base game update. You can probably tell that I built this one not too long after the base game update actually dropped. I think it was like a couple days after. This build has definitely been sitting here on my computer waiting to be uploaded for a while. But obviously I was very distracted with the businesses and hobbies content that I had recorded also in early access and stuff. So yeah, this one has just kind of been sitting here waiting for it to be released. And it's up now, so I really hope that you do enjoy it. But yeah, here in the bedroom's actually kind of spacious, so I decided to close off a little area and actually put in a built-in closet here from Get Together. I thought that was a nice addition for some extra storage here in this small apartment. And then in the bedroom, I also had space for a desk, so I just placed a desk and a computer. I feel like that would be nice for your small business admin work. Sims don't really have to do any admin stuff, but it's still nice to just sort of pretend and just to have like a little home office. I feel like that would be very realistic. And then obviously we just have a very simple bathroom, and I used that same green subway tile here in the bathroom, combined with the matching green honeycomb tile on the floor. And then I realized that I needed a litter box for the cats living in the apartment, so I placed that one in the bathroom. I know, I can only imagine the amount of litter just like in the bathroom on the floor, and then you step out of the shower with your wet foot like on the cat litter that's on the ground. Like, it's disgusting. It's the worst. I do feel like there would be a lot of that going on in that bathroom because I did place one of those litter boxes that are literally just open. So, but you know, it's functional in game and that's what I care about. So that's what we went with. And then after the cat cafe's apartment, we're moving on to the apartment next door. So this one would be for the dog owner. And I kind of tried to do the same thing where I tried to continue the color scheme that I was going for downstairs. I tried to continue that sort of in the apartment on the second floor here. So I was very excited to actually have an excuse to use this gray bluish swatch of the base game counters. I haven't used this color. I really tend to gravitate towards the more like just the wood tones for this countertop for whatever reason, even though I love the other like more colorful swatches as well, but I just haven't really had a chance to use them because the wood swatches were just always the better option for whatever I was going for. But for this one in particular, I feel like the grayish blue swatch was actually perfect. It feels very coastal to me again, which was exactly what I was going for. So that was really nice. And yeah, for the rest, it's just the exact same layout. I did use the same backsplash, but just in a different color as well. So it's all very cohesive in that sense. And I've been really enjoying that for this build in particular. And I did want to try a different layout here. So I was kind of trying to see what I could do with the same space as we just did like next door, but then just a slightly different layout because I also wanted there to be a dining table in this one. I was kind of challenging myself to see if I could fit one in. So I was trying to do that, and so I decided to put the fireplace in a different area, which maybe isn't the most realistic, but you know, it's The Sims. I can do whatever I want. So I placed the fireplace against a different wall here to see what else I could come up with layout-wise. And I really like this. I went for this more comfortable, like base game looking couch that is just, oh, I love that couch. It's one of my all-time favorites in the game, honestly. Even with all the packs included, I just really like that couch so much. I'm so happy that they gave us extra swatches for it a while back. It's a really good one. It's just super basic and versatile. So I placed that here. For some reason, I felt like that was a good fit for this particular apartment. And then I actually did have the space for a nice 4-seater dining table in here. So I went for some blue coastal looking dining chairs and a dark wood dining table. I placed a laptop on top of the table as well. So that's sort of like their admin area, their little home office. Because in the bedroom, I actually made space for a dog bed because I actually hadn't done that yet. So I felt like I really needed to dedicate a space for the dog to sleep because, again, I feel like the dog cafe owner would also just have a dog that lives here with them in their apartment. I feel like the dog cafe is not necessarily a cafe where a bunch of dogs just kind of live there, but I feel like it's a cafe where people just bring their dogs to. So that's different from the cat cafe where I just feel like a bunch of cats live in the cafe and you could adopt them maybe, sort of like a rescue shelter type thing. But here for the dog cafe, it's like people come here and hang out with their dogs at the cafe. I feel like that's a slight difference there. But yeah, I definitely felt like the owner of the dog cafe would also own a dog, or maybe 2, but I feel like 1 because the apartment is small. So I don't know, just 1 dog I feel like would make more sense. So in the bedroom, I actually ended up placing a nice dog bed for them to sleep. And then they have the exact same bathroom layout here as well. Except they don't have to have space for a litter box, so that actually gave me a little bit more space to work with here. But then that's it for this build. So let's jump into the game and I'll show you this build in real time. So here we have the cat and dog cafe in the game. I think they're so cute right next to each other, and this lot, again, is just one of my all-time favorites. They look so cozy. So yeah, this build definitely takes up most of the space here on this lot. It's only a very small lot, so I didn't have a lot of space for for landscaping. So I tried to blend it in just with the surrounding area to the best of my ability. And then they each do have this tiny area in the back. So there's a couple of tables here in the back. I also placed a litter box outside here and just some toys. Next door, kind of the same situation here with a couple of tables, a little bench, and then some toys for the dogs as well. This is that mailbox area that I was talking about, where we just have the kitty mailbox and also the dog mailbox next to each other, so the owners would run into each other all the time and like have little fights and discussions over here, and then eventually, you know, growing a little bit closer, becoming friends, and then maybe, you know, maybe more after that. But first of all, let's go into the cat cafe. So the theme for this one's definitely very pink. We do have some other like accent colors going on as well, but there's definitely a lot of pink. It's very cutesy. So when you first come in here, we do have a small entrance where you can hang your coat if you wanted to. And then there is a small living room set up here with a couch and a chair. Obviously a bunch of cat trees naturally, but I do feel like this area here by the bay window is just super cozy. I can totally imagine the cats hanging out on the couch with the people in the cafe. That would just be so adorable. And then we just have a bunch of tables and chairs. There's also a bookcase here, so Sims can just do some reading while they're hanging out with the cats and drinking their coffee. Another large cat tree over here. We have some cat art as well. And then we just have a bunch of coffee stuff here, obviously. Some clutter here, some milk and treats and stuff. I feel like you'd have to really guard these treats just out in the open because the cats will eat it probably. And then here through this sneaky little door here is where we have an employee only little kitchenette where they can grab some food if they want to. And then there's obviously also a bathroom over on this side. And moving on to the dog cafe next door, this one's very blue and green. So same thing here. When you first walk in, there is an entrance where you can hang your coat, maybe grab a free snack for the dog. And then we just have a bunch of seating here. So a living room set up here with the same couches, just in blue. I also placed a couple of dog beds, of course, some smaller ones and a really big one over here. In the bay window here, I decided to go for a dining table instead of a living room setup. So that's what we did, a nice 4-seater table here. Also a bookcase, some fitting art, and a little food and water station over here as well. And then obviously over here is where you can grab your coffee and a nice treat. And then same thing goes for this cafe where we have a small kitchenette here off of the coffee bar. And then going upstairs for the cat cafe, we have the apartment over here. I really like the light pink combined with the more plum color and the dark woods. It's very, very cozy in that sense. So when you first walk in, there is a small kitchen. It's really cramped, but I do love the layout of this kitchen. I think it's so cozy with the island counters. And I really like this cute entryway space here. It's really small, but you know, it's a small apartment, so it makes sense. So yeah, kitchen over here. One of the most important things obviously is a cat tree, so we had to have one of those in here as well. And then around the fireplace on this side is a small living room set up with a tiny TV. It's only really small, but I did love that I had the chance to use this love seat because I don't use it often enough, and I think it's so pretty. It's the one from Cats and Dogs. And then in the bedroom over here, we have a nice color combination of purple and green, which I really enjoy. The bedroom's pretty simple, but I do love the aesthetic of this though. There's a small desk moment over here and a built-in wardrobe, and obviously another cat tree, very important. And then a small bathroom over here off of the living room. Next door, we essentially have the same thing going on where you enter right into the kitchen. That is the exact same layout, just a completely different color scheme. So really cute blue grayish kitchen. I love that swatch. I think it's adorable. There is a food bowl for the dog up here, of course. A small dining area over here that also functions as a little home office. Some treats. There's a lot of dog treats in this build. This is the living room set up here with another fireplace. I really like this blue and light wood. It's very coastal. Of course, there is a bathroom over here off of the living room as well, and then a bedroom on this side. So again, trying to do a slightly different layout from the other apartment. I really like how this one came together. It feels a little bit more empty, but that's because I really wanted there to be space for a larger dog bed in here, so that's what I went with. But yeah, that is actually it for this build. So this cat and dog cafe is up on the gallery. I completely forgot to mention this in the video whatsoever, but it is a limited pack build. I only used cats and dogs get together and the everyday clutter kit for the coffee mug clutter. Of course, I had to use that. So it only uses those 3 packs. And then obviously if you have businesses and hobbies, you can very easily turn it into a small business and run it that way. But yeah, it is up on the gallery. I built it on a 20 by 20 in the world of Brindleton Bay, and it comes in at just over 166,000 simoleons. So yeah, you can grab it off the gallery. But that's gonna do it for today's video, so I really hope that you enjoyed this one. You can obviously go ahead and download it off the gallery like I just showed you. My username on the gallery is Simmery Sims. You can follow me on Instagram if you'd like. My username on there is Simmery Sims as well. If you're not subscribed to my channel already, feel free to do so, and if you'd like to get notified every single time I upload, click that little bell icon. I also live stream over on Twitch a few times a week, so if you're interested in that, go ahead and give me a follow over on twitch.tv/Simmery Sims. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!